Check one.
Sylvester McCoy. This is one of. I mean, I love them all. Yeah, yeah, we're live.
I never saw
Um,
any with Sylvester McCoy, but I think I would like him as a doctor.
he's good. There was one. The greatest. Crap. The greatest show in the galaxy. Um, was a killer one of his I enjoyed. And he was one of the. I don't remember exactly what his accent was, but he was one of the first ones that had like a very different accent.
Oh, like Peter
I don't,
Capaldi has the Scottish accent.
yeah, I don't think it was. It wasn't Scottish, but like he did the rolling of the R's at like very
Arrgh!
dramatic times.
I am the doctor.
Yeah.
This is David Tennant's father-in-law, right? Or is it not this guy?
So right now, no. This is Colin Baker, who got the short end of the stick. He got like he was booted after 2 seasons.
Okay.
The next one, 5, Peter Davison.
Peter
Um,
Davison.
and and 6 got the worst costume most people think. But he had like an interesting story. He had like a what was it? He had like regeneration sickness, and so that kind of like screwed with him when he first regenerated.
Gotcha. Okay. So is he related to Tom Baker, or are they just?
No, they both just bake a lot of bread.
Oh, okay, because they're bakers. Okay.
They're bakers, but otherwise no, like just in profession.
Could be a countdown to the first Doctor. Who knows?
It could be.
Could be a countdown. We'll see. This is the
This is Peter
father-in-law
Davis. Yep.
of David Tennant. Fun fact. And this guy's daughter plays David Tennant's daughter in The Doctor's Daughter.
Yes. We need to come back to that storyline.
I think so. Bring her back.
Bring like isn't she's a time lord, so she or time lady. So
I forget.
bring her back. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, what has she been up to? What is she doing? Though I do
Right.
feel like it wouldn't really make sense without David Tennant's Doctor. I mean, you could. And you could
Yeah, I
even
mean
recast her.
exactly. It could be and so there could even be a thing where like both of them look different and so they don't recognize each other and it's not until something happens that they realize who it is. We've
I
got
could
Scarf,
see that. They can't
Tom
see
Baker.
they can't see your scarf.
That's no, okay, let me describe. I'm wearing his scarf. My hand is going under the scarf. I'm pushing up on the scarf to put more of it into the camera so that you can see that I'm holding the scarf. And there you go. There's the audible version of me showing my scarf.
All right. All right. Let's see where you're going with this. I've got my Tom Baker accent on.
Okay. You sound like a street beggar
What?
that asking for some more food.
Please, sir, can I have my regenerations?
No, I'm sorry. I know you sound like a chimney sweep, an authentic British chimney sweep.
Yeah, I learned from Bert.
Yeah.
Bert.
This one was great. So John Pertwee was known for his comedy, but he didn't bring that to the role and instead played a dramatic kind of like action-packed doctor. He had two vehicles, Bessie that had like the Who Won license plate, and then had like a hovercraft that had the Who 2 license plate, and did kind of like karate type moves.
Karate type moves.
And I think potentially one of the best outfits of all the Doctors. I don't know if I can say like the best. You can't see the color here, but it's phenomenal.
When did they bring color to Doctor Who?
He was in color. I don't know. I don't think the second Doctors was in color. I think they might have added color in post. To the second Doctor that we see here, but when I remember seeing all of his episodes, they were all in black and white, including like the last one, War Games.
And I see there's a picture of him with a recorder from our previous discussion. He likes the recorder.
It was in a decent number of episodes, so it was not hidden. And I think in one of like the mashup episodes, that happens at like all of the anniversaries, I think somebody gave him crap for. I mean, they generally give each other crap for things, and so I think somebody gave him crap for his recorder.
So, in the old Who, did these Doctors ever meet up with each other?
Yeah, so they had mashups as well. So there was like the Five Doctors was one of the big episodes, and then we have William Hartnell, the first Doctor. So, and there were a few of those episodes. I don't know exactly. I want to say like 3 or 4 of those episodes that I remember that had like multi-Doctor storylines. And I was too young to realize this, but my guess would be that all of them were around anniversaries, just like all of the multi-Doctor stories have been like on anniversaries.
Maybe also some Christmas episodes. I know they like to do their Christmas specials with... No, really?
There were no Christmas episodes in Classic Who.
Wow. Okay. So that's a new Who thing.
That's a new Who thing. Yep.
All right.
And there were no... I don't know when the multi-Doctor stories took place. If they took place like in... I think that's the end of the video, so let's go live.
We're live.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't think that... I don't know if like the multi-Doctor stories had took place like outside of the season, like they were like actual specials or not, but I don't remember any other specials other than those. So it's not like we had, like David Tennant had like the 4 episodes, and so I don't think they had other specials other than like just those ones.
Gotcha.
All right, so hello and welcome to Road Goes Ever On and On. Sorry, we were still chatting from the kind of countdown, talking about some of the classic Doctors as they were coming up. This is a special episode, and we have 2 more of these coming. So, in celebration of the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, Mark and I are watching each of the 3 specials, and then the next day we are doing a live episode to talk about the episode as well as kind of anything else related to Doctor Who that comes up as we're talking. Because this is a live episode, please, if you have any thoughts on anything we're saying, feel free to throw them in the chat. We would love to hear from you, and we will comment on them if we can. And I do still have some more trivia that my wife had put together, so I don't know when we'll throw it in, but I'll try and throw this in at some point. We'll do the answers at the end, so if you want to throw in an answer, feel free to throw it in the chat. We would love to see what your thoughts are on these. And I do still have a Classic Who question as well, so we'll throw one of those in for fun.
I knew you'd
So
like my shirt, Cassie, by the way. I knew you would like it. Because I was looking for the bow tie. I was going to do the Matt Smith thing, but I thought this would be a good runner-up, right? All right. So should we get into this episode?
Yes, and so it jumps right in with bit of a recap to help old audiences or new audiences. And so we see that we've got Donna and the Doctor. What are your thoughts about like these two? You know, seeing old faces in this kind of new setting.
So we last left Dr. Ten and Donna, you know, she took all the Time Lord energy. If she remembers him, she's gonna die. You know, I thought Donna Noble was one of my favorite companions for Tennant. You know, like, we had the Rose love dynamic, and then we had, I forget the other girl's name that was after her. Martha. And she loved the Doctor. Like, she was pining for the Doctor, but he was, like, sad. And, like, Donna felt like his friend. Like,
yes,
there was no love interest. It was like they were just really good friends. So I was a little nervous about
like buddies,
like best friends, and I was a little nervous of you know, they tied that story up with a bow, you know, bringing it back. Like, what are they gonna do? I was pleasantly surprised with what came about from it.
And I mean, to a certain extent, it was a similar type story with David Tennant, where we've never seen a Doctor regenerate into a previous Doctor. So his story was kind of written out, unless it was like one of these multi-Doctor stories that sometimes happens around like the anniversaries. So we weren't I mean, obviously the trailers let us know we were going to see both of them, but otherwise we shouldn't be seeing these two. And so I think it was great. Like, it was nice to see the old mannerisms, how quickly they fell into those patterns. And I think that it's a great relationship for new audiences to come into, because they've got just like, they're fun together.
They have a great dynamic. David Tennant, seriously, he picked it up just like he was the Doctor. And, you know, he's played a couple of different roles outside of the Doctor, but like the Doctor, the way he portrays the Doctor as this like kind of like goofy kid, like when he sees the TARDIS at the end, like his excitement at that TARDIS, I was like, oh my gosh, it's 10, the 10th Doctor's back. And I felt it was so great.
It did feel like, and it, like you said, like just came right back into the role. And it's interesting because that also felt like the portrayal. Like, he kind of like saunters out of the TARDIS. He's enjoying his surroundings. Like, there's lively music. You know, he seems like upbeat. He seems very natural in his own skin. Like he's been here before. But then it also is a different person, because at one point, you know, he does say something about like loving her. And is surprised by his own words. Like, oh, do I say that now? I
say that now. Yeah. He's still a different Doctor. It does seem like he's the same Doctor, but maybe like a grown-up version of him. Like, if you think about it, we saw, you know, in their timeline, like a 20-year-old younger version with that face of Tennant. So it does seem like it could be the same Doctor, that maybe he's just grown up a little bit, possibly.
I'm curious where that whole storyline goes. Like, is it because they've talked about it as a different number? This isn't 10.
He's 14.
So he is 14. And I kind of wonder about that. So is it just like he's comfortable in this skin, and so it's easy to fall into the old habits, but he's also learning new things about himself because he is a new person? Or and how did all of this happen? You know, like, why is this happening?
And they keep asking that question, why this face? And to me, it seemed like it was going to be focused from this episode. Like, him and Donna were going to get together. And that's why they were going, you know, I thought it was going to be dragged out through 3 specials, them not seeing each other or something along those lines. But all that got wrapped up, so why this face?
So I do have a theory about this. Like we have seen the final baddie in the last one, the toy maker, who when he debuted with I think the second Doctor, maybe the first, was a celestial toy maker, and he likes to pull strings. He likes to play games with people, and it ends in their demise. And I kind of feel like, because he did say, like Tennant said, I don't believe in I don't believe in sorry, I'm blanking, but he doesn't think that things can be like predestined, but if there is a such thing as destiny, he feels like the two of them are being pushed together. And I feel like that's also the combination of his face with her, that I wonder if that was like the first of many games with the celestial toy maker.
Well,
Where it's like a test to see whether or not putting them in this situation causes the Doctor to have to lose his best friend.
so the Mape said, as he's like being, taken off to jail, they were like, oh, it's part of his plan. You're gonna see him. You're gonna rue the day. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I assumed he was talking about the toy maker.
That's who I assume. But we'll
Now,
see.
does the toy maker ever? Did the toy maker ever show up after that first appearance, or is this the first appearance since that appearance?
I don't know about any of like the other material, but that was his only appearance in the show. He lives in pocket universes, which he completely controls, and so like that's one of the difficulties, is that the toy maker had to let them out, and so they had to figure out a way. And it was looked like a no-win situation, where it's like, if they lose, they're definitely going to die, and if they win, he's probably going to throw a tantrum and not follow his promise and let them out, and they're going to die anyway. So they had to figure out a way to both win and be able to sneak out. And so I'm interested in seeing how that works out.
And it looks like they got a pretty good actor to play him.
I know.
I'm pretty excited for Neil Patrick Harris to join the Who universe.
I'm extremely excited. And it looks like a fun portrayal.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have a lot of fun playing that part, for sure.
Oh, yeah. You interested in doing some questions?
Let's do some trivia. Let's see what we can do. For all of you chat, you are welcome to join in the trivia as well.
I don't know why I was trying to... This is too small to do this. So we'll see. Which companion does the Doctor take to see her father's death? But don't jump in with an answer. Give people a moment. If you think you know the answer to this, feel free to throw it in the chat. I've got mine locked in.
Wait, can you ask the question one more time?
Which companion does the Doctor take to see their father's death?
I think I know.
Got it locked in.
Locked
All
in.
right.
Do you guys know?
And Dawn says Neil Patrick Harris will be amazing. 100%. I'm excited. And the show's off to a great start. So I feel like it's already killing it. Bringing him in is going to be so much fun.
Hello, Bob and Beard. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the chat.
Yeah, nice to see you. I'm going to repeat the question in case anybody missed it, and then we'll go ahead and give our answer.
All
Which
right.
companion does the Doctor take to see their father's death? So, I believe it's Rose.
I think Rose, yeah. Rose? Yeah. Rose. Final answer.
We'll do it at the end.
We'll do it at the end.
We'll do
Okay.
it at the...
So, in our discussions,
Yes.
we chatted about 2 things that made an appearance in this episode, and I want to know your thoughts on it. one a little bit shorter, the psychic paper, and the sonic screwdriver.
Oh, okay.
I'm very
Let's
curious on your take on
let
these.
let's hit all the tech while we're at it. So let's also throw the TARDIS in there.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
so like all the versions of the tech, and
Let's
I'll
start with
off
psychic paper.
psychic paper. Okay, psychic paper. Good joke. I liked it. So
I liked it
was
too.
it was worth it for me. I don't know if other people have seen one of the previous episodes. I said that I'm not a big fan of the psychic paper, but man, it was a great joke. So for me, it hit.
I thought the psychic paper was great, and like I said in the previous episode, it's not as reliable as the sonic screwdriver. As you can see, it says you're a missus. But Don makes a great point about the sonic screwdriver.
Way too strong.
Way too overpowered.
Way too strong. I just one quick thing about like the psychic paper.
Yeah.
I like the fact that just like some tech where you like a car, you know, where it's like sometimes you like kick it to see if it'll start working.
He like shakes it.
Smacks the psychic paper.
And I like how he talks to it like it's sentient. Oh, catch up.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Don says Sonic is way too strong. I said this in one of the last videos. Like it, for me, what are the rules about this thing? What can't it do? We saw it do something brand new, and I felt like that was a huge power. At the same time, I did also kind of like it. It was kind of an interesting ability. And maybe he's been fiddling with it, so it's like the more he fiddles with it, the more powers it gets. But like, what are the friggin' rules?
Well, okay. I didn't like the pacing of that part because it's like there's these two aliens shooting at each other from this like one very narrow hall.
Yeah.
And like they're shooting each other and it's like they're not hitting each other.
Yeah.
He like takes time to like draw it and then like slowly slides one out and they're still just like shooting at the same wall. Like this goes back to, you know, Doctor Who camp but they're like just both shooting at the wall. Nothing changes.
Right.
He makes a new one.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a little unbelievable where it's like once the wall came, unless they can't see it, maybe it's like audiences can see it, but they can't.
Maybe.
If they can see it, the fact that they're still shooting at it instead of, you know, using the time to like move forward and get like better positioning.
Yeah, go round or something.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think the pacing on that part was great, but I will get back to pacing on a later point. I actually did like the pacing of the episode for the most part.
Same.
But it is a kid show, and it does have some of these moments that are a little bit, you know? Yeah, so, Donna's saying, right? Someone should have charged. Someone should have charged.
Right. They're just sitting there like... What about the cement part of breaking down the cement?
It's sonic, so it can vibrate it. So I think like with enough vibrations that it will break down something like that. So that to me made sense.
Right. I wish they kind of just did that, and it did seem kind of like frustrating that they did it back to back, where it was like, oh, how do we get out of this? Sonic screwdriver. How do we get out of this? Sonic screwdriver. And it, like you were saying, it's the get out easy tool, you know? It is. Whatever I want it to do, it gets me out of.
But then it can't do something when you don't want it to. So like when he's back at the spaceship and Shirley's with him, the woman in the wheelchair, she blows down a brick wall. Like, shouldn't he have been able to sonic that? You know, instead he's like waiting for her to do something. And it's like, we just saw you deal with this problem. It is a kid show. I'll give it a pass. Like, overall, I thought the episode was killer, so I'm okay with that. The TARDIS.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the TARDIS? What are other people's thoughts on the TARDIS? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Like, is this one of your favorites? Not one of your favorites? What is your favorite?
So, I really liked the TARDIS. I thought it looked cool. I thought, to me, like, I've seen what the old TARDIS looks like from Classic Who. And I know that all the New Who TARDISes have kind of had like a steampunky vibe on the inside. You know, a lot of wires and gyros. But this one, it looks so clean, it looks so nice, but it looked modern with like the lights and the colors. I like it. I like this TARDIS.
And I think the minimalist color really helped it look extremely spacious, and it was a spacious TARDIS. Like for the first time, it really does feel bigger on the inside. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. It reminded me of kind of classic Who, you know, where we've got like white interior circles. I mean, they're not quite like the balls that stick out, but still, like it reminded me of kind of the classic TARDIS while being very new and fresh at the same time.
Well, yeah, and I feel like it has a lot of those, like, what's really popular right now is like the RGB lighting, you know, in a lot of setups, and it looks like that's what they can do with that, and they can kind of, with that white circle interior, they can actually have it be a bunch of different like moods or vibes. So I'm really digging that part. But
where would this fall in your TARDISes?
I really liked Matt Smith's TARDIS because that one also felt pretty big as well. And you know, he's always hanging around from things, and so I did like Matt Smith's TARDIS also, maybe because he's my doctor.
Yep.
But I would say that I like when I saw this TARDIS, I thought that's a beautiful inside to a TARDIS and I'm excited for.
I think Capaldi's TARDIS is my favorite because Capaldi had, you know, like a library in there. He had like a chalkboard, you know, during like the Listen episode. It feels like the place where somebody that has met so much of the universe and wants to consume as much as possible, like it does feel like a real setting where that person would live.
The one thing I will say about this TARDIS, though, for making a coffee right on the center console and just spilling a little amount on it, I feel like the console should be waterproof, at least coffee proof. If you're going to put a coffee maker right in the center where everybody is, it should be able to get a little bit wet.
The TARDIS has always been temperamental, though, so like it works with canon. You know, like the chameleon circuit is broken. It often doesn't go where you want it to go. It just goes where it needs to go.
It gets locked up all the time.
Yes. For something that looks beautiful, it does feel like an old machine that like needs some work.
Definitely does. But I really liked the inside of this one.
All right. You want to do another question?
Yeah, let's do another question.
Okay. What is the name of the space station that the Doctor takes Rose to? And this is a multiple choice question. Once again, before either of us answer, we want to make sure that if somebody thinks they know the answer, feel free to throw it in the chat. So we'll give you a moment.
Don. You wrote these. You can't write.
You wrote
these.
We better not say you. Once again, the question: what is the name of the space station that the Doctor takes Rose to? Is it Platform 1? Is it Station 3? Is it Think Tank? Or is it Prison Station?
What was A again?
Platform 1, Station 3, Think Tank, and Prison Station. I am not sure on this, but I kind of feel like I might have the answer. So I'm locked in and I'm ready.
I'm debating between two of them.
Okay.
I think two I know are not it, but I can't... Okay, I think I have my answer locked in as well.
Okay. So, you want to go first this time?
I'm going to say Station 3.
I'm going to say Platform 1.
See, those were the ones I was debating between. Cassie says Platform 1, so she's, you guys were probably onto something. I don't know.
She's on my side. I think, Cassie, we're on the right side.
I hate this already.
We'll see. Okay. two questions in the bag. So let's talk about some of the overall pacing.
Hmm.
What did what did you think of like the overall pacing and like the overall feel of the show?
I loved it. It was, seeing David Tennant pick right back up as the
Yes.
doctor, and then him figuring out where Donna's life is, and really cool seeing like that Donna has lived a life. She got married shortly after, she had a child. She gave up all that money that she won because she wanted to be like David Tennant or the doctor.
Yeah.
But I do feel like some of these episodes can drag a little bit. I think about like the one Capaldi's first episode with the
Yeah.
T-Rex.
Wasn't that like an hour and a half or
Yes,
2 hours?
it was a longer episode to bring him in, and
Yeah.
I just think that one was way too long. There were a lot of boring parts, but like everything, like I felt like the stakes were high.
Yeah.
Bringing in Donna and the doctor to see if
Yep.
she would remember. We have the stakes with her daughter Rose,
Right. The
and
stakes with the entire town of London.
entire town of London were like, this place is going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
They set up a couple of different like red herrings of like who were the bad guys and like who are coming after this
Right.
poor little Meep. I did have a feeling that this Meep was the bad guy.
Okay.
I thought he was too cute.
Too cute.
Too cute. I'm like,
Don't trust cute.
I don't know. You seem. But then, like, when the doctor was talking to the Meep, I was like, oh, maybe not. But I had a feeling.
Interestingly enough, do you know that this is from some of like the extracurricular Doctor Who lore?
The Meep? The Meep?
Yeah, the Meep existed before, and the Meep followed a similar storyline of like it's revealed that the Meep is bad, but the Meep starts off looking like the good guy. The reveal happened much earlier, and I think it was a comic.
Okay.
But I didn't know that beforehand. I luckily didn't have that spoiled. I had no clue. Like if this thing is helpless enough to let somebody poke its eye, like I wouldn't think that something like somebody that is homicidal would let you poke its eye and then be like, ah.
The, th- the thing that made me think that it was bad was, okay, when Unit was looking at the ship, it was like the ship
Yep.
landed.
Right.
And then it said there was an escape pod that shot out. So to me, it was like, I thought the Meep drove that ship, got out. Though I did think that those space guys, the whirly eyes, were still going to be bad too.
The Rorts, yeah.
Yeah. But I thought everybody was going to be bad. I thought it was going to be like a three-way bad guy thing. But then it turned out those other guys were good.
Yeah. So for me, I love the pacing of the episode. Like it starts off with, what is a Meep again? Meep was the giant-eyed, looked like a giant Furby, and it turned out that Furby was not good. Turns out that like if Furby was possessed and wants to murder everything. So like I thought the pacing was killer. Like it starts off with the it's like a gremlin, don't feed it after midnight. Where
Yes.
like it flips. Yeah. Yeah. And like it had similar like facial characteristics of like a cat where it can do like the big eyes and like the ears back and like, oh no,
Oh, I'm
I'm
so
sad and
helpless.
tiny. And then it has that other thing of like, I have daggers on the end of my fingers.
I'm going to murder you and your whole family.
Right. Like I think we've all seen a cat like twitch like that.
Oh,
at
yeah.
one point.
Most definitely.
But yeah, so it had like great pacing, great comedy in the beginning. Hello, MH. Good to see
Hello,
you.
MH.
And I love the fact that, so like you were talking about, some of the different moments we had of like the ruse and kind of like switching things up and making us think one thing and then changing it to something else, and the stakes are really big. And yet, what was really cool about it was with all of this like comedy and action and everything that goes on, the heart of it, like the core, was an emotional story. And the biggest part that happens is in a tiny confined space with two characters, and it's just this beautiful piece of those two that was just absolutely tugging my heartstrings.
I started welling up. I could feel it.
100%. I, my wife Dawn pointed out that it was a little bit cheap to like think Donna was dead and then she comes back. I do feel like I was like jerked a little bit there because I was devastated. That scene was killing me.
So sad.
But I did kind of like the storyline of how, you know, how they were able to beat it and to be forced into the situation. Like, not forced into the situation. She chose it because of her love for her kid. Like, I love that bond. I thought it was absolutely
so
beautiful.
the explanation of what didn't kill Donna.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I was okay with it. I think I was more okay with it because of like the emotional payoff from some of the other parts. I thought the story of Donna's love for her daughter was beautiful. I thought how inclusive this episode was really cool. So for me, I was okay with it because of what had been built before. But without that, I think it might have felt like a cheap retcon. And it definitely felt like they had to figure out some kind of retcon to
Right.
be able to bring the Doctor and Donna back and have them together. So I kind of get that.
I liked the overall narrative of and why Rose herself was dealing with the issues that she was dealing with of, being a young trans woman. But I liked the narrative tool of like why she felt that way, why she felt so out of place.
Donna's asking if it would have been better if Donna actually died. And it certainly would give us stakes. So, but instead we get 2 more adventures with the Doctor and Donna.
And I love that. I love that. And you know what? I actually also really love when Dr. Donna is Dr. Donna.
Yeah.
And going back to what I was saying about Rose, the one thing I kind of didn't like was that Rose herself was fully like Time Lord and like crazy smart. Like, I almost wish that she had a little bit like she maybe like knew she was a Time Lord, but like maybe not so advanced Time Lord, like right off the rip.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of, but I love Dr. Donna. I love when Donna goes full Doctor mode.
Do we think she's in the clear, or will she die at the end of the 3 episodes? Oof, we talked about this in, I think, our last one. There's only been, I think, 1 companion who's, like, really died. I mean, you could argue that, like, Clara died, but then she got to, like, pause time and live for infinitely in that time. So it was kind of like she didn't die. Like, Adric is the only one who really got the short end of the stick. It's a kids show. I'd be interested in seeing if they go somewhere that dark. I don't think it will happen, but it certainly would up the stakes.
So, do we... but, like, okay, I do think we're going to lose the Doctor because he has to regenerate.
Right.
Because we know David Tennant's only doing these 3 episodes.
Right.
So, I could see not losing Donna, but
Yeah.
almost worse, where it's like now Donna can be friends with the Doctor again, and we're gonna lose that. That's gonna get ripped away from her.
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I don't think that they're going to do. I think of all of the regenerations, I think David Tennant has been the most heart wrenching for me. I think the fact that he will leave again will be heart wrenching again, but I don't think they're going to try and redo that scene where they like, I don't want to go like the fact he got a victory lap. I think he maybe will be happy with the fact that he got a second chance and the other ones haven't. So I'm hopeful that it's like, but we'll see.
And I do think more is going to come with the story of his face and why it is David Tennant.
Yes. I did want to like we briefly mentioned Rose, so I did want to say like I liked the story of inclusion. I like the fact that they brought up something I didn't know before, and I heard Russell T Davies talking about after the fact, which is when the kids are saying Rose's previous name. I didn't know that there's a word for that. It's dead naming.
Oh yeah.
When you use and I think that this is a positive way to get these kind of conversations going, because not everybody have trans people in their lives, or haven't, or don't realize it, or haven't met one yet, or and so I think that these are kind of great conversations. And I think the scene with Donna and her mom, I thought was a beautiful scene.
So good.
That like showed off, especially somebody from an older generation who was trying to be nice and respectful, but just like isn't used to it, and so makes
and
a
doesn't
mistake
want to
and
say the wrong
misgenders.
things.
Yes, like I think these are good conversations, and Cassie inclusion, yes, definitely.
And that's what's so like this episode I did think was great. Like at first, you see, her, and you're sometimes when I feel like when they include a trans character, they don't show the struggles that trans people go through. And I think that and it made sense in the narrative of the story to put her in there and show what she has to go through as a young kid, and how she feels like an alien, how she doesn't feel like she belongs, and it was important to the narrative. I thought it was great.
I loved it. You want to do another question?
I do.
Okay, this one's going to be classic Who, so I expect that you won't know the answer. I expect possibly, I don't know if anybody in the chat will. I may not know the answer. There's a lot of words on here. Okay.
Cassie is a true Doctor Who fan. She's seen every episode probably like 100 times, so she'll probably get it.
Okay. You might actually know this. Okay, so which actor who played the Doctor had a child who later went on to act alongside David Tennant in the rebooted series? I'm going to ask the question again because there are a lot of words.
Yeah.
And it is multiple choice, so you can choose. Which actor who played the Doctor had a child who later went on to act alongside David Tennant in the rebooted series? I'll give you a hint. You know the answer, and we actually literally talked about this. So the options are 1, Tom Baker, which is confusing. I feel like for the first time, I think the multiple choice should be numbered based off the Doctor versus like...
Right.
So number 1 is Tom Baker, number 2 is Peter Davison, number 3 is Sylvester McCoy, and number 4 is Colin Baker. You did this, I think?
Well, I'm going to say final answer is David Tennant.
Which previous actor?
Final answer, David Tennant.
Old who?
Peter Davison.
Peter Davison. Okay,
that's my guess.
That's gonna be mine.
Lock it in. Final answer, okay. Regis.
All right, so that is that one. Okay, let's talk about the baddies in the episode.
Yes,
we did talk about the Meep a little bit. So I guess we've kind of covered some of that. We haven't really talked about like the Rorth, other than the fact that they were doing a lot of shooting and
Are
not
those
necessarily hitting anybody.
those were the ones trying to bring the meat to justice, right?
Those were the ones with the baby shark hands.
Can I say something so funny about those guys? Do you
I've
know
got
who they
something funny after that.
Do you know who they remind me of?
Oh my god, if they remind you of the same, I would love it because they remind me of somebody.
From the critters from Bone?
Okay, so they actually, I was thinking that, and I was also thinking, even though after I looked at the picture it doesn't quite look as like this, they also remind me a little bit of like the Urkins from Invader Zim.
They do look like them. So they reminded me of the creatures from Bone. I forget what they're called in Bone. But like
The rat creatures.
the rat creatures. Because
Yes.
at first when you see them, they're all like menacing. They got glowy red eyes. They've got the little, spike ears.
Yes. We've got somebody new in the chat. I just want to say hi to Goodbot, and what do you
Hello,
think of the
Goodbot.
new 15th Doctor? And do you think he'll be any good? I'll let Mark jump on this one because I think he's actually seen some sex education.
I have. I saw Sex Education with, and I'm not even gonna try to say his name right now because I need to practice it before,
Yeah.
because it is a tricky name and I don't want to offend anybody by saying the wrong name. But I do believe that he will be a fun doctor. His performance in Sex Education, he is he plays a young, very, very flamboyant student in this sex education class, and he's funny, he's got charisma. I think that he will be a very fun doctor. He was also in the Barbie movie recently, and I think he he has such a bit part in it, but I think I think he can play silly. I think he can do serious. I'm really excited to see him as the next Doctor. Like I'm very excited.
And that, like you said that like you've already seen some different portrayals, and the Doctor needs that because the Doctor does a little of everything, like we saw. And I think I'm a little partial. David Tennant is him and Tom Baker are my faves, and I do feel like Tennant can just flip on the seriousness like a light switch,
So
where all
quickly.
of a sudden he like amps into. But you've got to be able to do the comedy, you've got to be able to do the seriousness, you've got to be able to do whatever. I don't want David to go. Yes.
Same. We don't want David to go. Matt was great. And yes, he has big shoes to fill, and I think he can do it.
David was your... Yeah, so I'm curious, Goodbot, did you start off with David Tennant? Because I find that most people, like, their first Doctor ends up kind of being their Doctor. So I'm curious about that. I watched as a kid, so I saw a bunch of it before I was too young for it to really set in. But Tom Baker had 7 series, more than which is so much more than anybody else, that he cemented himself as like my Doctor, even if it wasn't, the first one I saw. Don says Tennant.
See,
Yes.
Matt Smith is just as good.
I love every single one of them. I honestly do. I love Jodie Whittaker. I think her like episodes were terrible, but I love Jodie Whittaker. I love Colin Baker, the one with the horrible costume that got axed after 2 seasons in the old Doctor Who. When I first watched Eccleston, I was very guarded because I was coming in from old Who. I wanted to like hold on to what I love and not have somebody ruin it, and so I don't feel like I gave him a chance the first watch through. But after watching him a second time, I was like, I wish I could have gotten more than 1 season of. So I really do love them all.
And at least a full season that was well written, because I think like the first couple episodes of that series are tough.
2 of them are farting aliens. Like that's.
We got farting aliens. We got mannequins. He got a rough go, unfortunately.
And the messed up thing is So Colin Baker, the one who has the worst outfit considered by most people, when he was pitching what his doctor should look like, he basically described what Christopher Eccleston had. So, like, and like he could have been a pretty cool looking doctor, and instead got a pretty bad outfit.
What do you think of David Tennant's outfit in this one, by the way?
It's interesting because I feel like it's kind of like what we talked about him, where it's like it's familiar but also different. Where I do think this is a different doctor.
Yes.
Not just like number wise. Like I think it was very easy for him to just fall into what this old face, like I think when you suddenly have like your teeth feel the same, everything feels the same, it's easy to have the same kind of like mannerisms, but then he's finding his own groove. I think it's going to change. I hope they bring back Matt Smith soon.
I do too. What if we get him in one of the episodes of 60th and they've kept that on lock? That would be... It's not going to happen, I know. But
the second episode, we've seen barely anything on it. Like, we've seen a lot of the first and a lot of the third. We've seen, like, basically no footage from the second one. Great Blue Beyond, Great Blue Yonder, who knows?
Well, and Matt Smith was, he was there for the 50th, but he was in the middle of his tenure as the Doctor, so... I hope he comes back, but I hope he doesn't wait till the 70th to come back, because that would be a bummer.
I hope so, too. Donna's talking about Tennant in other shows. Jessica Jones, Grace Point, Good Omens. Absolutely. Like, he's an amazing actor. I think Matt Smith's career has blown up more, and I also think Matt Smith is an amazing actor. I think that
Tennant's in
David
Star Wars
likes
now.
to do... I know. He's in a lot of stuff. He was in DuckTales.
Yeah, he's Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck. He's great.
He's New Scrooge.
New Scrooge. Okay. We want to do another one of these?
Yeah, let's do another one.
Okay. What did Cassandra claim she was the last of? Don't answer yet. We've got to give the chat a moment to put in their answer if they think they know the answer. What did Cassandra claim she was the last of? I've got mine locked in.
Mine locked in as well.
Okay. Who went first last time?
Well, I think I said the answer, so you say the answer this time.
Okay. I think she a human.
A human?
A human?
Human?
I think... Oh, Cassie said pure human. Yes.
I told you. Cassie's like one of the biggest fans of Doctor Who ever.
We don't know yet. We'll see with the answers.
But is she really human? Is she?
We're asking this with like the current show that we're doing, Foundation. Like what it is to be a person, what it is to have a soul.
Do robots have souls?
And to a certain extent, like I don't know if Cassandra is. Who knows?
I mean, well, so from Foundation, it's like the seeking of enlightenment. Cassandra doesn't seem like to be.
Cassie says you have the same. Mark knows this because Mark has hung out with you, but I hope you don't look like Cassandra.
Cassandra does not look like Cassandra at all.
Yeah.
This Cassie's way prettier than Cassandra. But only by a little bit.
Let's see. Would you guys like to be a Doctor Who day if you was given the option? Like, would you like to
holiday?
Be... Or do we want a Doctor Who holiday, or do we want to be, like, in a Doctor Who episode?
As the Doctor.
Would you like to be Doctor? Oh.
I mean... I feel like I would love to be the Doctor.
Yeah, I want to. I definitely want. I don't think I can fill those. I think I would be lucky if I could be one of his companions for like a day.
Right, like we said in that previous discussion episode, you're the peasant that went to go see Shakespeare that gets annihilated by the aliens as you sit down.
Yeah, I think at best I would have a very bit part in an episode, and that would make me happy. Like I
Man,
would be very happy to be annihilated early on into a Doctor Who episode to show how high the stakes are.
yeah. But I mean, I would love to be the Doctor. I just don't think I could do it. I'd be
I
like,
don't.
I'd tell my companions, hey, wait, don't go that way. Oh no, they just got vaporized. Tardis! We
Right.
gotta get out of here.
Yeah. I would. You know what I would be? This. I would be. K9's dog trainer. Like the reason that K9 was such a good boy was because when K9 was first being programmed,
You
I
were
was
programming it.
I was programming him. That's my part in
Oh my
Doctor
gosh,
Who.
that's hilarious.
Is the dog trainer slash like computer programmer of K9.
But I had to teach you all the training techniques to
Yes.
like, and you did the programming. Perfect.
Yeah,
Easy.
definitely.
Look at Goodbot says that we could be the Doctor.
We
Goodbot has faith in us. I have faith in us. We could be the Doctor. What if there were like
the Doctor splits into two bodies.
two
for
bodies?
one regeneration.
I'll get a heart. You get a heart.
Who doesn't miss Billy Piper?
Oh, I miss Billy Piper. I liked Billy
and
Piper.
She was one of the ones that got like ripped away emotionally.
But she got a happy ending. She basically got to have her doctor and eat it too.
Right. Cassie is not willing to follow you into space. What about time? Would you follow
Ooh.
Mark into time?
Yeah.
If not
Let's go see
space?
some dinosaurs, Cassie. Let's go.
Some dinosaurs, Shakespeare, something along those lines. There was the one where he meets the famous writer.
Shakespeare.
Crap. No, it was mysteries. Female writer does mysteries. I can't think of. Anyways, yeah. Okay. Goodbot wants to go. Definitely. If it turns out that we are the Doctor and we're just like, I don't remember those like watches. What exactly those were called? Where the Doctor could like store themselves as a Time Lord.
Right. Where David Tennant does it. Yeah.
If it turns out that we are Time Lords, we just don't remember because we're currently in a pocket watch, which I do have a pocket watch in my room, so it's possible.
I got
mine
right here.
If it turns out that we are doctors and we turn into the Doctor, we'll definitely take you along. So
Yes, actually, we are.
we will not take Cassie because she. We'll take Cassie through time, but not space.
Not space. But if you think of it, we are like the doctors of this stream, and our viewers are like our companions.
Okay. Yes. Goodbot, why are you like it's an emotional show for me when it's emotional.
It is.
It's not hard to play my heartstrings, but I don't know why you need to do this because there's a lot of them. For me, I think my number one would probably be when the 10th Doctor says that he doesn't want to go. His last words, I don't want to go. Kill me every time. But there's all sorts of like sad storylines, even when they're not like crazy sad. They're just kind of like melancholy, like the girl in the fireplace.
Yeah.
The
library.
The library, the one with Amy and Rory, where she ends up aging and they like leave her old version behind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like the door is locked on the other side and Rory's trying to go out to his Amy. There's a bunch of them.
The letter that Amy writes to the Doctor after she gets sent back with the Weeping Angels, that's pretty sad.
Yeah. Anybody else? What's a saddest one for you?
Yes.
And Mark, what's your saddest? Because I don't know if you necessarily said saddest. Me, it's 10 regenerating is like hands down the saddest, but I mentioned some others.
I will
Goodbot, I
say,
don't think you have spelling problems. I think autocorrect sucks. I think we
yeah,
all
yeah,
know that.
yeah. And we're really not good readers, so don't worry about it. So, like, we barely get by.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would say, I think my saddest episode is it's not necessarily. It's I think probably the same episode as you, where it's when he says I don't want to go, but for me it's the part where Wilf knocks on the door, knocks on the glass thing. He's like, "I'm sorry, Doctor. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
go in here." And you're just like, "Oh no, Wilf." Speaking of Wilf in this episode, so I don't know if you know that the actor that played Wilf passed away, I think a couple years ago, about 5-ish years ago.
Yeah.
And it was so nice that they included him and like
Yes.
they get to like he gets to live out this happy life there. Like at some point they're gonna tell him that the doctor and Donna got back together and were able to repair her memory. So
Right.
I love that they had little Wilf in there.
Yeah. We've got a few more ones in here. Danny Pink, that was definitely a tough one. Goodbot, thanks for the sub. We definitely appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the sub.
And then Cassie was asking a little further up about most holy crap moment for each of you. I mean, so I think the was it Heaven Sent?
That was a holy crap moment, yeah.
That's like the lengths that he's going to each time, knowing what's going to happen is just crazy. I think I think you know the name of the episode. I can't think of it. The one where is it the Doctor's Wife where we meet the Tardis?
Yeah.
Is that the Doctor's Wife?
Yeah, that's
I like
the Doctor's wife.
that was a cool portrayal. Like that was like a what the hell? Like that is so
Yeah.
cool.
I really think a holy crap moment for me is Blink. Because
Yeah, especially with recording when it
Yeah.
finally makes sense and we get to see it in context. Because we
Right.
see it a few times and it's like, what's going on? This is weird.
Yeah,
And
because
then when it clicks,
he has a full conversation through the like secret DVD menus, and he just seems like he's talking to no one. And then when it lines up with Martha, right? Martha? Is it Martha? It's not Martha.
It's been so long. I don't know. I think it was somebody like
just a rando. Yeah. But it was while he's traveling with Martha.
Just watched Blink today. Yeah, Blink is it's one of the best, and it's crazy because it's a Doctor Light episode. Best Master, starting with you, Mark.
So I've only had 2 masters because I didn't see the master for Jodie Whittaker, so I've only seen Missy and the one during the Force special, and I think he's my favorite master.
Okay.
Just because I kind of like my doctor, he was my first master, so I just really liked him, and those episodes were so powerful. That's why.
I do really like Missy's portrayal, and I like the fact that it was, for me at least, it was a killer surprise. I didn't see it coming. So I love that. But I thought that was a beautiful kind of like surprise and understanding of like why we're seeing what we're seeing.
I actually got to go to a panel with Missy.
Did you?
At a Denver Comic-Con, but it wasn't for Doctor Who. Okay. She's the principal / devil in the Sabrina series.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I was with Steph Barkmeyer.
Yeah.
And we went over to see her in that panel.
Yes. I would say I think the one of the classic Masters actors, I think Roger Delgado. I think that might be a favorite for me, but like all of the portrayals have been great, including I actually really enjoyed the one from Jodie Whittaker's run. So um,
Paul.
it could
Paul at the mall.
Paul them all.
From Utopia, remember? Remember old Paul at the
Yeah.
mall?
Yes. That's right. Okay, so we've got Are we ready for another one of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
See if Goodbot can get this answer.
Yeah. All right, and then if anybody else has any other questions that they want to ask us, we can do that. Otherwise, I think we'll kind
We'll
of
tie
wrap
it up.
up at
Yeah.
that point. So, all right, so we've got what is the werewolf scared of? And it's a multiple choice. One, Holly. Two, bees. Three, butterflies. And four, mistletoe. I'll ask the question again. We won't jump into the answer. We'll give people a moment. Even if you don't think you know the answer, it's multiple choice, so it doesn't hurt to just throw in one of the numbers 1 through 4. Whole numbers only. What is the werewolf scared of? Holly is 1. Bees is 2. Butterflies is 3. And mistletoe is 4. And I will be honest here. I'm going to be picking an answer at random because I don't know the answer to this.
I think.
So I'll lock in my random answer, but I am admitting to the fact that it's random.
I think it's mistletoe.
Okay.
I think it's mistletoe. I'm going to say mistletoe. So now do we want to go over the answers to all the trivia questions?
Do I get to say my random answer to this?
I thought you were saying random. I thought you already chose.
Yeah, no, but I have to say it. I'm not just gonna like at the end be like, yeah, that was my answer. I'm gonna go with 1, Holly, and I'll elaborate a little bit more. I think it's Buddy Holly. I think the werewolf is scared of Buddy Holly.
I thought it was Holly from The Office. That was a nice woman.
We do have all right, we've got somebody new in the chat. Lindsay Rose.
Hello, Lindsay.
Thank you
good
for
to see you here.
joining. And we've got 3 butterflies from Lindsay.
Okay. Lindsay says butterflies.
And then we do have a few questions that we'll get into. We've got Goodbot asking where we're from. I'll do an abridged, but still like hitting the highlights. Born in Italy because my parents were in the military. Most of my life outside of Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia as a kid because my parents were in the military. And then moved to sunny San Diego to follow my wife. Not like in a stalkery way, but like a really cute, lovey way.
He followed her before they were married, so it was kind of a stalkery way.
It was not followed her to San Diego because she was training dolphins, and it turns out that there's not a lot of dolphins in Northern Virginia. Like there might be 1 or 2 in the Potomac River, but they probably don't live very long in those horrible waters. And that's been the end of my journey so far, but who knows what's next.
And I am originally from Thousand Oaks, California. I moved to San Diego to be a dolphin trainer with his wife.
What?
And that's how we all ended up living together. And now I live in sunny Fort Collins, Colorado.
Ooh.
So that's where we're at now.
Then let's see. Lindsay, you've never seen the show.
You need to watch Doctor Who. You would
so
love
good.
Doctor Who.
And okay, so I'll do the pitch really quickly because it's the longest running sci-fi show, and so it can be very daunting as to like when to jump in. Do you start off with something from the 60s? I highly don't recommend that. The cool thing is because the main character has the ability to change anytime they're going to die, new actors step into the role, and anytime a new actor takes the lead in the role is a great time to come in because they kind of like catch you up on what's going on. And that just happened right now, like yesterday.
Like watch the episode on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah, Disney
and you're
Plus,
caught up.
you're good enough. And if you enjoy it and you want to see some of the previous stuff, I would start off with like new Doctor Who, which I don't know if all the back catalogs on Disney or if you gotta like buy it on Apple TV or Google Play Movies or
I don't know.
Amazon or whatever.
I'm not sure about Disney's new thing, but it did seem like they were gonna have. I don't know. Are they bringing old Who too? Because I might go through
I,
old Who.
I don't. Well, old Who you can watch on a free channel. I don't remember what, Tubi maybe, something like that.
Oh, okay.
They've got a channel that just constantly shows. So you don't get to start from the beginning. You just like whatever is going. You watch.
Gotcha.
I would say like if you want to watch the show, just start with the Disney Plus stuff, and if after these three specials, there's one on December 2nd, one on December 8th, and then the Doctor is going to regenerate. Hashtag spoiler. I mean, that's like a known spoiler, not like a real spoiler. If you like it and you want to watch some of the old stuff, maybe start with Christopher Eccleston in the beginning of New Who.
And plus, shameless plug, on December 3rd and 9th, December 3rd and 9th, we will have a live show talking about each of those episodes. So,
same
next
bat time,
week,
same bat channel.
Yep.
So,
you can come back,
join us for that.
Watch the episode, and get more out of this.
Got Cassie's coming from Nashville. Never been there, but would love to visit at some point. We do have a question about what was the best screwdriver? And for Goodbot, it was the new one. So Mark, what's the best screwdriver for you?
I mean, I like Matt Smith's screwdriver. One also, so David Tennant as the 10th Doctor had a blue screwdriver, and this one came back as a blue screwdriver. Matt Smith had a green screwdriver, and green's my favorite color, so I like Matt Smith's.
I would say the best sonic screwdriver is one that doesn't exist because I've already said I think it's a little bit on the broken side, as like it can do everything when it needs to and it can do nothing when they want to like up the stakes. I'm not like a hater. I don't hate it, but I do think it's a little kind of like broken and the writers can just write whatever they want.
As seen in this episode.
We've got Goodbot is coming from Oxford. That's awesome. I grew up on British television. I've never been to England. My sister has. I would love to go to England. So definitely will at some point.
I've been to England twice. It was great. I love it.
I'm jealous. Did you have any jelly babies while you were there?
Yeah.
You just saying that?
Yeah.
The fourth Doctor, one of his things is he had jelly babies on him. And he would ask people, "Do you want a jelly baby?"
No, I could eat a Kinder Egg there, and that wasn't illegal. So
that's good. Have you seen Mr. Bean play Doctor Who? I did see that one. Mark, did you see that one?
I have not seen Mr. Bean do it, but I would love to see Mr. Bean be the Doctor.
Yeah, there's a whole there's a comedy short that I think was done by Moffat or Russell T Davies a long time ago, like before the show came back.
Oh.
It's a comedy. It's short. I like it. I recommend it. I'm sure that if you search Mr. Bean Doctor Who on YouTube, that you'll probably find it. So I do recommend that if you like it.
I did go watch the episode, the one where the Dalek. You mentioned it in our discussion.
Yes.
I hadn't watched it.
That one's canon.
Yes.
So this one with Mr. Bean or like Rowan
It's not
Atkinson
canon. It's not canon.
Is not canon.
Right. But I was gonna ask you: did we see Davros in any of Jodie Whittaker's stuff?
I don't remember it.
And
but
I
I
guess,
also might have been blocking out her run once again, not because I didn't like her as a Doctor, but I didn't like her episodes.
Right. Now,
but I don't think so.
What did you think of seeing Davros like that?
Okay, so that so I remembered like the first time we saw Davros was with Tom Baker, and it's a killer episode. I think it's called The Genesis of the Daleks. It is absolutely amazing. It's the about the creation of the Daleks, and the Doctor has the chance to wipe them out, and he has this existential crisis about like genocide and if that's okay. It is a killer episode, and it's got Davros in it for the first time. Absolutely love it. So obviously this is a different portrayal of it, but I like what they're going for. Like going back to like being inclusive, it's often a trope where you have, the bad guy has some type of like handicap, or like one of the few handicapped people in the show is a bad guy, and it's nice for them to remove that trope. Like, does it matter that he was in, some type of like a wheelchair? Like, do I need to be so much of a gatekeeper that's going to be the thing that I like die on that hill? It gives us a chance to modernize. I'm okay with it. I think it's a net positive.
I thought it was cool. Like, I was not expecting to see Davros in that little short. When you had mentioned it, you were just talking about how he got the plunger on the Dalek. So I wasn't expecting to see Davros, and I was like, wait, this is canon with Davros here? Like, that all just seemed wild to me. But I actually really enjoyed it. Always loved Tennant, of course.
We've got a great question here about, do you guys like any other sci-fi?
Boy, do we.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to start off with a German language show, 3 seasons on Netflix called Dark. That's so good that this is like the one time that I would say, stop watching us right now and just start watching Dark, and that would be a perfectly okay thing to do. And I know that's not good for our podcast. This is bad advertising.
But Dark is really
Dark
good.
is that good where I'd say like, stop watching us right now and watch the first episode of Dark, and then come back next week on December 3rd and see our live thing, or hang out. Obviously, like, hang out a few more. We're not on that much longer, but Dark is killer.
Also, Goodbot, we just broke down on our channel Foundation, a popular sci-fi show. The first season, we are finishing that up pretty soon here. So if you like that sci-fi, you could watch that show and then come watch us as you watch it. That's one that we have that's sci-fi. And we're doing... Should we say what we're doing after Foundation yet?
Yeah. Let's say it.
After Foundation, we're doing Silo, which I also think is very science fiction-y. So stay tuned for that as well. We love science fiction. We love breaking down all kinds of different mediums.
All Mod Cons said, loved your coverage of Severance. Foundation has been good too. Awesome. Thank you so much. We're really looking forward to changing it up with Silo, and then we'll come back with season 2 of Foundation. If there is anything else that you are into, feel free to throw us a line on one of our videos or on one of our other social media platforms. Like, you can, leave a comment on Instagram, hit us up on Twitter, TikTok, wherever. If you've got a recommendation, we'd love to hear it. If we've already seen it, we may not be able to do it because it is better to do it with fresh eyes. Or if it doesn't quite work for our medium, we may not be able to, but we'd love suggestions. We'd love to know what you think we should be watching.
And you know what? Thank you, all ModCons, because, without you, we wouldn't be doing this. Literally, we would not be doing this. Like, the fact that you watch our episodes and are enjoying them, this is why we're doing them, and we thank you so much for coming here and enjoying our show.
Absolutely. I think
with that, our journey has come to an end, folks. So thank you guys so much for joining us for our very first live stream. It has been a lot of fun. Tomorrow it's been a great time. Tomorrow we have our our 8th episode of Foundation Breakdown coming out. Next week at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we will be doing our next live show on the 2nd episode of the Doctor Who anniversary special. So we will hopefully see you guys then. And I'm Mark.
I'm Sterling. Thanks.
Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next time.